Week 16 in the NFL, and Cess Dog, we ain't screwing around no more.
No, it is getting serious.
We hit every game on Sunday. Also Saturday, surprises and stunners galore. We feel the need to heed. I hate myself. Hey, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. The Week 16 recap, the flagship show. Except no imitations. Dan Hanzus here, Marc Sessler. If it's the Sunday night show, that must mean Conor Orr is here. Justin Graver on the ones and twos, and we're going to take you through every single game on another consequential week in our league, Cessy.
We are getting closer and closer to, I know you've never heard of this space station, but the Death Star. Like, there's no avoiding the conflict at this point.
Live long and prosper, bro. I pick up what you put down. I got you, bro.
You did. You nailed it.
By the way, kick off your Week 16 recap with Amazon Prime, your go-to for last-minute holiday gifts. Fast, free shipping keeps you covered during the holidays, especially when time's tight and you can't wait another minute. Holiday wins delivered. It's on Prime. You know who else delivered a win? Drake May and the New England Patriots. Let's start with Sunday Night Football.
Oh, Sunday night.
This was gut check time for the Patriots. Fresh off a humbling home loss to the Buffalo Bills. And now in Baltimore, down 11 points in the second half. In the fourth quarter, Drake May led the comeback. A 37-yard scoring strike to Kyle Williams. A 2-point conversion pass to Ramondre Stevenson. Cutting it to a 3-point game with 9:01 to play. And after New England forced the punt, the Pats go right down the field again, 89 yards for the winning touchdown. Stevenson on the ground. And then they close it out like those old Patriots did with a strip on a beautiful textbook tackle from behind to wrap up the game. 28-24. Pats are going back to the playoffs. And Cessy, it is exactly what the Patriots needed after last week. I thought Collinsworth put it well. You know, sometimes a team needs a win. Maybe this team needed a loss, and now they felt all the different things, and they are 7-0 on the road this year.
Yeah, and they weren't blown out by the Bills. I think they collapsed. But to come back a week later in unfriendly territory and handle the Ravens with Lamar or without Lamar for most of the game, I get it. But they responded, I thought, in a really well. In the Drake May pass to Kyle Williams was, I just enjoy watching this quarterback. And if he were your quarterback or mine on our team, like, you'd be in love with this guy. They just seem very resilient. They're a young team. It's like so much of the AFC. They're growing up quickly before our eyes, and the challenges are ahead of them. But like, it feels like the AFC is sort of like the world of tomorrow intersecting with the world of yesterday, and the Patriots represent that. And I don't see them as a soft double-digit win team that's kind of just hoisted up because of their schedule. I don't. I think they came out tonight and took care of business in any way you want them to.
They're also, it seems like even publicly, they're pushing away any of the dumb stuff. Like, even after the game, you can just tell like the totality of the Vrabel effect. Like, everybody's in line, everybody's on message, everybody's on brand. And even, we reference Diggs, like even any of these players that are just typically floating out of orbit all seem to be just in motion together. And that's the mark of a great coach, and probably at this point a lock for Coach of the Year.
Here is Diggs after the game on NBC.
Well, it's really not me at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a beacon or like a vessel on his team, and the guys get behind me. I talk a lot of junk, I say a lot on the sidelines, but I'm just happy to be around this group of guys, being able with a young quarterback that's MVP talent, MVP guy. It's just a blessing to be out here. I'm thankful to be out here, be healthy, and just be around the boys for real, and get a win on the road. Road Warriors.
See,
A beacon,
Nobody want
a
me to do this,
vessel.
is it? I'm a great guy.
that's what I
I'm
thought.
actually a
Keep
great
him
job.
happy. You're good.
Yeah, you know what else is going to keep him happy, Connor? 10 targets. You're feeding Diggs the ball in a big game. He lives for these games, and that's a great. I agree with you. And again, for anybody that's going to try to like come after me or anything on my mentions, I've never said the Patriots weren't a good team. I wanted to see them get tested, and they played well to a certain point against the Bills. And then the Bills came and got them. And then going to Baltimore in this situation, down double-digit points, did it help them? Was it maybe lucky that Lamar Jackson got hurt? Maybe, but Lamar Jackson's always hurt now, and that's just been the story of his season. But their ability to wipe out that deficit and do it in such a complete and dominant manner in the last half of the fourth quarter, that is a major, major benchmark for them in terms of, again, what are we trying to do here as football fans, analysts, whatever, as the regular season comes closer to a conclusion? Who's real? Who's fugazi? And I thought that this game was another example of why the Patriots appear to be real. And I agree with your points that, and I've thought this since the beginning of the season with Vrabel, like he has this whole team pointed in the right direction. And that was part of the old Patriots regime as well, Connor, where you would have guys that would be maybe headaches in other places, a Corey Dillon as an example, a Randy Moss, but they understood to play here. You could play at a high level, but you have to fit within the mechanics of what we do. And Diggs is a perfect example.
And it's almost like I don't want to say like a master stroke, because at the same time, if Diggs wouldn't have been playing well and he had the incident that they did at the beginning of the summer and he was dropping balls, like they would have cut him 3 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago or whatever it is. But I mean, I think that they're finding guys, veteran guys at the right time in their career. I mean, I think the parallels between this and the Commanders are so eerie, right? Because they're going to have to replace a lot of really good veteran players at the end of this season or maybe next season. There is an age component to this roster, but right now it's working. And that's what's fun about it. I think if the Commanders have taught us anything, it's let's just love this team for what it is, which is just this very eclectic and beautiful mix of mismatched parts.
Yeah, and you look at like the Cleveland Chasen relentless pursuer of the ball carrier and the fumble recovery that changes this game. Like a guy that was basically done with another team and he fits here. So you're right that it's like everything seems to be in concert. And they got through this game, and yes, Lamar was out, but you've got the Jets and the Dolphins after this. Barring a wild right turn out of reality, you've won this division and you've earned it.
You're right. They definitely have the inside track now on winning this division. And don't forget, Denver lost today, so the conference is up for grabs now. Again, they could have home field throughout and the first round bye. Everything is in play now for this Patriots team again. On the Baltimore side of things, I mean, same old, right? It was almost emblematic of their whole season.
Yeah.
There are moments when they look like they are the old Ravens, especially Lamar comes out of the game on their first drive where they go right down the field and score. He looks great. He looks locked in. And I was thinking to myself as I'm watching, wow, this looks like the Lamar that has won MVPs, that's been dominant. But he gets taken down in the first half, goes out with a back injury, and he stays out with a back injury. And you give credit to Snoop Huntley, who was unable to lead them on a game-winning drive down the stretch there, Connor. But he kept them in the game, put them in position to win. And he wasn't on the field when the defense gave up 2 straight touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He did enough. But that's just the Ravens this year. Like so many of these stalwarts in the AFC this season, they are just another team. They're just not the same as they've been in past.
It was, the whole thing was strange, right? Because even after the game, John Harbaugh said it was a quote, a bruise of some kind for Lamar Jackson. And then Snoop Huntley said Lamar Jackson was in so much pain he couldn't move. And then, these are like loosely pieced together puzzles, but like Derrick Henry and Mitchell were in a drive share at some point, and then Mitchell mistakenly started a drive that Derrick Henry was supposed to start in a critical moment at the end of the game, and Henry's on the bench when everyone's wondering what's going on, and like you're tackling players instead of defending passes. Like, what is going on with this? Like, this is not a crisp like well-oiled Ravens machine at this point. You've had the same coach for 18 years. That's the advantage of this.
I know, and maybe you'll start to hear some whispers again if this ends going the way it seems to be going. We're going to get to the Steelers next and what this means in the AFC. But the Ravens, Mark, have lost 6 games at home this year. I mean, this is Derrick Henry had another huge fumble in this game. The turnovers have been a major issue. They have 15 turnovers in their building this year. It's just been an uncharacteristic season, and they obviously now need to win out and get help. And I don't think anybody expected it to play out this way, because remember, they already survived the 1-5 start. They ran off the winning streak, took control of the division, and now have let it slip away down the stretch. Weird Ravens year, weird season in the NFL.
Yeah, I think like everyone with this narrative that like overcome 1-5, become the team that we saw last year, become a supernova, win playoff games, except they ran back everything from last year, but it's 1 year later and none of it's working. They feel to me more like the idea of a team than an actual team that I'm scared of. They're just like the concept of a Ravens team. And we are in a weird season where concepts of old superpowers don't translate. So check you later.
One negative for the Patriots before we head to break. Rookie running back Travion Henderson left the game in the second quarter, evaluated for a concussion, and then ruled out. They're very thin at running back right now. They also are dealing with injuries to Demario Davis, hamstring, wide receiver, Joshua Farmer, the defensive tackle, hamstring, Kiaris Tonga, foot injury, Charles Woods, cornerback, ankle. None of them finished the game. Offensive tackle Morgan Moses had a knee. And Thayer Munford Jr. had a knee. They missed time, but came back in. So they got beat up in this game, and it would have hurt even more if they didn't find a way to come back, but they did. And Connor, last fun fact I have, and then I throw it to you for the final word.
Fun fact.
That was the first 300-yard game for Drake May. Would that surprise you?
What?
380 yards in this game. Had never thrown a 300-yard game in his career to this point. This will not be his last, I'm guessing.
My goodness. What a night. I mean, I don't know. I think that this is, like you said at the top, it's hard, almost like some of the other teams that we talked about, where we keep perpetually saying, well, I want to see them do it in this situation, and I want to see them do it in that situation. But New England has almost erased all doubts for me. I mean, I'm just ready to see them take flight like a dove in the playoffs. Let's go. I'm ready.
Sometimes when they do that thing, though, I got to say, Connor, you ever see those clips online of like, oh, we're going to bring a dove to the funeral and we're going to throw it up, and then an 18-wheeler drives by right at that moment and splatters the dove against the windshield? Or could happen. I'm just saying. It could happen. Or
you get Randy Johnson in there to just blast that thing with a fastball. Right.
That's what I do at a funeral.
Yeah. That was a seagull. But yeah, like same thing. Sometimes the birds, it doesn't work out. But wide open.
You are both vaguely disturbed. I'm just going to, not that I'm not, but like that was a disturbing interchange.
You know what's disturbing to me? Sessler locking up the Ravens as if that could end any other way.
I don't learn
from
my own. I don't learn from my own mistakes.
Well, that was also.
Hold on, that was for the show. If you think about it, because it was part and
parcel.
Here's
what's confounding, Mark, about you is I know you didn't even believe this. Like you're the only guy on our show that locks things that we all know you don't even believe in. It was part of a bit we had on the show last week where it was a 3 truths and a lie, and you needed to say something was a lie, so you said that the Patriots weren't going to win. But like everybody knew you were actually thinking the Patriots are going to win, and then you doubled down by locking the Patriots. It's just, you are a riddle wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a conundrum, something like that.
A mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.
Yeah,
I don't.
That's you.
That wasn't what I was going for. I wanted to believe. But it's a season where nothing feels, there's no cement. It's all sand.
You've been in curse overdrive this year. Does it get exhausting?
I bear a lot of weight on my psychological shoulders, yeah.
Stavros better not hear that you locked up the Ravens, knowing your history.
I don't want to deal with that guy.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll dig into the rest of a fairly wild week 16. Stay right there. Ho, ho, ho. Sessler, this is the last week I'm going to ask you because then that's it. You're out of time. How's that Christmas shopping going?
You know what? I'm going to surprise you. I am all set thanks to Aura Frames.
Oh, amazing. You did it, Mark. If you're, but for the rest of you, if you're still hunting for the right gift, I got you covered. Aura Frames. Mark just said it. It's the gift that makes it look like you planned it all along. Thoughtful, personal, and easy. Basically, the holiday trifecta.
Yeah, Dan, as I told you last week, I always struggle to find a truly personal gift. For the people closest to me, you want something meaningful. I'm not trying to waste my money.
I'm so proud of you, dude.
Thank you.
And you know, that's why Aura Frames is perfect. Last year, I gave an Aura frame to my parents. They loved it. I preloaded it with my old family photos, some vacation shots. You know, my parents just celebrated their 50th. I had like 400 photos to choose from. Bang! They're living on the easy street because I just gave them a gift that they'll love forever. Now it sits in their living room, rotating through memories all day long. You can preload photos before it ships and keep adding new ones anytime from anywhere. Plus, every frame comes in a premium gift box with no price tag, so it's beautiful right out of the box. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it.
For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code HEEDTHECALL at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code HEEDTHECALL.
All one word. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Mark, you did it, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, we are back. Before we get into that Steelers game that we mentioned, we must do what we do every week. Now we must go back into the mind of Marc Sessler as he explains to us the theme of the week for week 16. Mark?
Okay, the theme of the week here in week 16 is this, 19 miles closer to the unforgivable dark worlds within.
19 miles closer to the unforgivable dark worlds within. All right, I'll start this one, Connor. Is the dark world the playoffs, and this we've been taking one journey, closer to the playoffs, which are unforgivable and a dark world for some. I don't know. What do you think, Connor?
I don't know. We've reached like a Thomas Pynchon level of complexity here, because it's not 19 weeks left in the season. 19 is what's really throwing me off, unless this is a classic Sessler red herring, and we should be paying attention to other aspects of it.
The number itself, a tad of a red herring, although what I would say, it feels like about how far we get with each week of the season in the regular season.
Right.
Just about 19 miles, like 2 data points on a highway. But we are getting closer and closer to what I'd say unforgivable dark world. It's not teams that make the playoffs. It's like you're coming closer to your reality. You're not great. You're not special. Some of you think you are, but even
we went down this road again? Why, Mark?
What?
We might be getting to the point. Can we trust Mark with this exercise?
Not.
Every single week, it's some teams are dead now. Some teams are close to being dead.
No, I think
time
last
to get rid
week
of teams.
Last week was like the joy.
Connor, am I
of
crazy?
football.
Are we on like a Cal Ripken streak at this point?
No,
the theme of the week being identical.
I disagree. While I don't recall the last 2 weeks, they were joyful, beautiful weeks of football, and I think I framed that, Justin, correct?
Yeah, last week's was about glorious.
Yeah, but what about the 4 before that?
No, because it's not the 4 before. It's been 3 great weeks. This was a little more stark this week. I thought I kind of sort of said whoosh.
All due respect, Mark, because we don't want to get in mess with your creative vision.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a moratorium on you talking about time for teams to go away. Let's focus elsewhere in our...
Well, this isn't going.
Just
to be clear, it's not teams going away. I understand that that's a trope with me. It's different than that. But I will take your note, and I'll let's go back to the suburbs and the Christmas parades, and I'll do that next week, and we'll have a wonderful time. Okay.
Just once. Let's go to the parade.
Sure.
It's nice. The parades can be nice.
They can be nice.
They're
I
leafy.
watch parades and I'm like, this is artificial, but I know that the person next to me is feeling something that I can't feel, and I understand that. So
Conor, also as a Syracuse trained journalist, is it unforgivable that Justin spelled unforgivable incorrectly on the?
well, that was
the blue
another
screen.
Easter egg.
I'll say this. Oh, wait. Oh yeah. Okay.
So not to like push
That could-
anyone in front of a moving bus or
You
anything.
could put me in front of the bus, Justin. That's fine.
I copied and pasted this straight out of a text message from Mark. Didn't even type.
Oh, sassy.
Well, no, then I'm putting Google Docs under the bus because it didn't come up as a misspelled word. So, I was a lot of moving parts, a lot of games happening.
I think we're gonna, in the words of Bill Belichick, Mark, we're on to Cincinnati.
Not everything can be beautiful and stoic. So,
All right, we're on to Detroit. Try to figure this sport out, huh? The Lions, everybody's darling. They've had their problems this year, but they're going to win this game, right? At home. Steelers missing TJ Watt and a bunch of other people. Think again. Because the Steelers have now won 3 straight, overcoming their own midseason slump. And, after a wild ending to this one, where the Lions looked like they were poised to wipe out a huge deficit and win in the final seconds of regulation. Some crazy officiating and just a wild play on the last play of the game goes Pittsburgh's way, and they survive 29-24. Pittsburgh, with this win coupled with that Ravens loss, are in control of the AFC North. In fact, they can clinch with a win and a Baltimore loss next week. And the Lions, 8-7, and this one hurts as much as any. Let's start with that play, though. And at the end of this game, which was... It was wild. So the Steelers were in control of this game. The Lions couldn't really get in gear in the first half on offense. And then in the third quarter, Detroit barely sees the ball. Jared Goff's on the field for 3 plays, ending in a safety. The Steelers chew up most of the clock, including a nearly 10-minute drive in the third quarter going into the fourth quarter that ends with a field goal. They get 2 45-yard touchdown runs from Jaylen Warren in the fourth quarter to go up 29-17. And then the Lions come back. They go 10 plays, 68 yards for a touchdown in just 2.5 minutes, 29-24. The Steelers miss a field goal, a killer miss, otherwise a wildly reliable kicker. But in this spot, he hits the upright. A lot of uprights were hit, and Boswell clanked one off the upright in this game. Only 24 seconds go off the clock there. And then the Lions have a chance to put the game away. They're on the field. They're marching down the field. They get inside the red zone. They get a couple penalties that go their way. And it ends on an OPI where Amon-Ra St. Brown, this is after a previous touchdown had already come off the board for the Lions on an illegal screen, I believe, right? And then they call play for Amon-Ra St. Brown. He pushes off, turns around, catches it at the 1, gets hit. As he's going down, the ball pops out right to Jared Goff somehow, who takes it into the end zone for a touchdown as time expires. Lions win. Well, flags are out. And let's hear how it was explained to 75,000 rowdy people in Detroit with the season on the line for the Lions.
A major call.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. However, pass interference, number 14 on the offense. By rule, that penalty is not enforced, and there is no replay. The game is over. There is no touchdown. The OPI on number 14 negates the penalty. There is no replay. The game is over.
Is anybody else head exploding by that?
Yeah, it was a real
explanation?
Abraham Lincoln there. Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Connor, because the way to say that was the result of the play was a touchdown. However, pass interference, offense, time is expired, game over, right? Like, Like there were a few missteps there that made it even more confusing, and you could see both the players on the field and the crowd trying to process what the referee was telling us on the PA. But ultimately, the play's over as soon as Amon-Ra St. Brown pushes off, which was the right call. The game is essentially over, but it took a while to figure it all out. And the fact that Goff ended up with the ball in the end zone, a more 2025 crazy juice.
There's like this episode of South Park, and this guy is trying to tell these kids that something horrible has happened to their parents. And there's like a line of kids, and he's like, anyone who thinks they still have parents, please step forward. And then he goes, not so fast, to like 3 of the kids. And it's just like the same thing is like, why did the officials say it this way, where they just pumped up the entire stadium and they were like, there's a touchdown. Oh yeah. But guess what, dickheads? I'm taking it off the board.
They showed Steelers players responding as well. Like,
you didn't even need to say there was a touchdown.
Right.
We
That's
didn't
the other
even
thing.
need to say it.
Pass interference, offense.
Game is over.
Right.
Time has expired. Game over.
This touchdown. this touchdown.
OPI nullifies touchdown. Game over.
Yes. This touchdown doesn't even matter because it doesn't exist because of the penalty. There is no touchdown. So we don't even need to notify them that there's a touchdown. Why do we have to tell them that?
Anyway, it's almost a fitting way for the Lions season to end, which it apparently has. I think they're about 15%, but we're now at the point where they need to win their last 2 games and then have a bunch of things go their way. Here's Dan Campbell afterwards.
It's frustrating. I was proud of the way the guys fought. You know, we fought our way back in that and had an opportunity to win the game, which is ultimately what you want. But we weren't able to close it out. And you know, at the end of the day, that's on us. I mean, we did that. You know, we're the ones who put ourselves in that position where we had to try to score on the last play. But some of the efforts were outstanding, and it was just too little, too late.
That's how it feels for the Lions, right? You can see it wrapped into every game that they're a super talented playoff-worthy team for stretches, but everything that went right for them in terms of win-loss a year ago, where their record was maybe a little inflated, but they suffered all those injuries and survived through that. Like, this was more of a realistic look at a team that's not all the way there. And
it's they allowed nearly 500 yards of offense.
No, it's like,
I think their season on the line.
Yeah, things just fell apart. Like, I think season on the line means a lot, but not if you're functionally not there. And they had 3 OPIs in this game, I believe, if not more. I think it was 3. And so they committed mistakes, errors. They weren't themselves, and they're not really worthy of the playoffs. And they've got a lot of self-inspection to unfurl.
What is it? 4? Yeah, no, 2. 2 rushing yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. And this was another huge Derek Harmon game. He has been an ass kicker for this Steelers run defense. And just look at this. They've allowed 33 yards to Josh Jacobs, 45 yards to Jonathan Taylor, 60 yards to Achane. They are just demolishing elite running backs in the NFL. And a lot of that has to do with when Harmon's healthy, when he's not healthy. But like, they are shutting down like the key nerve center to some of the biggest offenses in football. And you saw it because this was supposed to be a Goff game and he threw the ball 52 times. And even though his statistics look great, there were a lot of dropbacks where he looked incredibly uncomfortable. The ball just did not seem to be going in the right direction.
Like, Dan, are we getting a Patrick Ewing theory with TJ Watt here? Or am I going to, I won't go down that road.
Listen, they from where they were after that Bills game where the Bills set the Heinz Field or Acrisure Coliseum or whatever the they call it record with rushing yards to where they are now is crazy. But, you know, the Lions story to me, we know the defense has issues. We know they've been killed by injuries for a second straight year. But I thought it was really interesting and kind of sad, quite frankly, these last 2 weeks where they had gut check games, one against the Rams in Los Angeles, a shootout that they lost. And then this game where they have Jahmyr Gibbs and they blinked. It's like they weren't even willing to say, we can beat you with our running game. We're going to line it up and we're going to put the ball in Gibbs's stomach, in his breadbasket, and block for him, and he's going to win the game. Last week against the Rams, he only got the ball 13 times for 38 yards in that game as they had Goff drop back and throw it 41 times. In this game, it was almost like they didn't even try, Connor. It was like they were like, you know what? That's not going to work today. As if the running back is like just some average guy and not maybe the most explosive athlete in the sport. And I know he had a touchdown receiving in this game and did have a role in the offense still, but I just think it's such a mistake and a miscalculation to get away from the run in 2 straight weeks when you have someone as special as Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, you're fundamentally misunderstanding the whole point of what Ben Johnson put together and has now taken with him to Chicago. And that's not to say that they're one-dimensional, but without a run game, there is nothing, right? That is the foundation of the house. That is what all the coolness and the neatness and the innovativeness, I don't know if that's a word, is built on. And so when you take that away, yes, I'm sorry, it's just Jared Goff. And he can throw for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game, but it's almost like you still feel like you're running on a treadmill a little bit. And that's what it felt like to me today.
And who's calling the plays for the Lions?
Dan Campbell.
Well, it's your head coach.
They're on their second play caller this season, and they still don't get it. And I understand the Lions and Lions fans who might be like pushing back against this. They're banged up. Graham Glasgow was ruled inactive ahead of kickoff because of a knee injury. In general, their interior offensive line is not what it was or what they hoped it would be. But I don't know. You just put so much on the plate. And it's not even just Gibbs. Like David Montgomery's a great running back too. And they're just like, not today. And they're playing on Christmas. That Christmas schedule, by the way, woof. Netflix is probably unhappy with that.
Is it true
They're
that
at Minnesota next on?
Go
on
sleep with
Christmas.
your stocking in your bed.
I think 3 of the quarterbacks in that game are going to be 3rd string quarterbacks, right? Because I think 3 of those teams are down to their 3rd string passer. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that is crazy. The only other thing I want to say from this game was if you saw the DK Metcalf in-game altercation with a fan, he wasn't ejected for throwing a punch at a fan, which was surprising to me. Kind of pulled the fan toward him. I'm sure the fan was being a jerk off or whatever, but at the same time, you just can't do that. And I heard Florio say on the Sunday night pregame show, like, this isn't really a suspension play. What? How is it? If DK Metcalf is on the field next week, that's a disgrace. Like, you cannot have players swinging at fans unprovoked. And maybe you could say, oh, but his words provoked him. And I guess we need to hear what the words were. And the story is going to get bigger potentially. But like, you throw a punch at a fan, you can't play the next week. I'm curious to see how the NFL handles this.
Think Florio might jump on this? I think he might.
Did you see though? Someone interviewed the fan. So this whole thing is wild. Okay. The fan wasn't ejected. DK Metcalf wasn't ejected. The NFL said the reason that they didn't go back and eject DK Metcalf because there wasn't a flag, so it wasn't a reviewable play. But when would you throw a flag on something that happened miles deep onto the sidelines? And how do you officiate that? You don't, right? And so, but the fan anyway said that he just kept using DK Metcalf's entire Christian name and just saying it over and over and over again. And I guess it bothered him so much that DK went up against the barrier and then threw a punch at him.
This isn't good.
Now, this is his side of the story.
You think other fans are going to start saying this now, doing the same thing? Oh, DK.
Well, what's it? Hold on.
His name?
It's his...
The fan had like a wild blue wig on, by the way, which I did not appreciate.
Decalen Zacharias.
Yeah. So I think he just kept doing that. That's what he said. But both of them should have been removed. That guy shouldn't have been in the stadium.
Sure.
And to Florio's point, though, really quickly, Lamar Jackson effing throttled a Bills fan in week 1 or week 2, and like nothing happened to him. And he was like, sorry. And he was fine. So maybe that's the precedent that DK Metcalf is going off of.
I mean, as I recall, there was that fan who had gotten handsy with another Ravens player, and he was kind of defending his guy. And he probably shouldn't have done that either. But this was a one-on-one situation where a fan pissed off a player and a player took a swing at him. I'm very interested. Let's give the final word on this game to Aaron Rodgers, talking post-game about the chaos of the final play that put the Steelers in the driver's seat for the AFC North title.
I was trying to read Carl's lips and see what he was saying, and I saw him mouth OPI end of the game, so I felt pretty confident that was what was going to happen, but you never know. It's more time, and like I said, I was there for the Fail Mary game. I was standing from me to you from the replacement refs as they caved to the pressure of an angry Seattle field when that was obviously not simultaneous possession. So I was glad that it ended up like that. Wild game. Glad we're on top.
Man, it's crazy. Like, I should hate Aaron Rodgers after the way everything played out with the Jets, or be rooting against him. But he's playing so well down the stretch for the Steelers. Yeah. He's been a very good fit for them. He played really well again in this game. He played awesome last week. Like, I'm not saying the Steelers are a team to take seriously in January, but just the fact that they're probably going to get there. And all the hand-wringing about Mike Tomlin, he's clinched another non-losing season. They're probably going to end up going 10-7 and winning this division. The season almost impossibly is a success for Pittsburgh when everyone was pointing to the opposite. So, man, got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, and had Detroit played Pittsburgh back in Week 5 with all their Week 5 problems, different result likely. But this Steelers team feels a little bit different right now. I think Rodgers converted like 9 third and fourth down passes Justin sent us. Like, he's playing his best football right now.
Also,
last point, Connor.
Tried to lock the Lions in this one. So,
did we go 0-4? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see. It's not looking good for the old HTC picks gang
why
this
are we
week.
Here?
And I think Justin and I might have locked up the same team, and I don't know. I think that's the next game. Oh, Jesus. All right, let's move. Up next, this was the game that I had circled as we try to figure out who are the true Super Bowl contenders. There's been a lot of juice around the Jacksonville Jaguars the last week, but what happens when you send them to Denver? Is it the same Jaguars team we've seen the last couple of weeks? Well, we found out in a big way. To Mile High. Duval. Trevor Lawrence. He did it again. There's a great clip floating around. Maybe we'll play it later in the week, of Lawrence with his teammates in the huddle right in the tunnel before they went on the field today. Basically saying, everybody thinks that this defense is the shit. We don't care. We're going to cut you up. That's exactly what the Jaguars did. He threw for 3 more touchdown passes, ran for a touchdown as well. And the Jaguars spanked the Heinies of the Denver Broncos 34-20, snapping Denver's 11-game winning streak and adding a level of mystery to this AFC playoff picture. Gravy? We were both watching this closely because we both locked up the Denver Broncos. Let's start there. We are in a little bit of a slump. And I knew Lock Bros not feeling great about it, and but you thought you had everything in your corner. The Broncos haven't lost in 2.5 months. They always seem to find a way, and yet what happens here? The Jaguars just play a much higher level of football in this game.
Yeah, and I think to your point, opening a lot of questions about the AFC playoffs. This is setting up to feel like the most unpredictable playoffs in many years that I can remember. Long gone are the days of, just fast forward to Kansas City versus Buffalo or Cincinnati in the AFC Championship, or maybe Baltimore pulls it out. No, it's going to be one of these teams nobody's talking about. And today for Jacksonville was the first time I maybe really started to take them seriously as a team that's not just going to win the playoffs and maybe win a wild card game, but a team that can go on a run. You got to be able to go play on the road in tough environments against high-level defenses. That's how you win playoff games. And Jacksonville came out, and that's exactly what they did today. And I just feel so dumb because I was 1 week early on predicting the end of the Broncos win streak when I locked the Packers last week for a loss, and then got back on the Broncos train this week and lost again. I can't do it. I can't do anything.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny, actually.
It's very personal. It's about you, and we get that.
That is the headline.
That's why the show, the construct of the show, is simply around your your results.
He was on the right track at the beginning there before it went off into Justin as the world turns. This game started with, that crowd in Denver going nuts, and Bo Nix and the Broncos offense look sharp. But Trevor Lawrence and the offense, they strike first. And every time the Broncos counterpunched, here comes Jacksonville again with another right cross. And I thought, and we've seen it at times, Connor, this season, where the Broncos defense, as great as it's been and as historic as the pass rush has been, not every team has been flummoxed by this defense. And in this game, Liam Cohen, who, by the way, absolutely needs to be getting real buzz now for Coach of the Year,
he is,
had carved up this Denver defense. They didn't know what to expect, whether it's a run or a pass or a swing to Etienne or a pass downfield. And Lawrence it was like stealing candy from a baby, really.
And it shows, I think, the advantage of having that Brian Thomas downtime, whatever it was. There was that moment in the Parker Washington touchdown, that first one, where Brian Thomas was supposed to kind of sell like a little bit of a stop fake, but was just basically standing up straight, wasn't really doing anything. But Parker Washington got the man on man, and he's just watching this guy catch a touchdown in a really difficult spot, like still tight coverage and everything like that. But it's a perfect throw from Lawrence, and he's just so confident now with all ends of that roster, and it doesn't matter. It's not reliant on one person. And just one more note to add to that, like after just watching him get dismantled, to do boot action and to complete a pass after you get completely laid out on a play that was a flag, so the Denver defender just runs straight through you, that was ridiculous. Like when Johnny Knoxville got hit like that on Jackass, like he almost died. And Trevor Lawrence like just stays in the game and throws a touchdown. It's ridiculous.
It's like what we've waited for. I think it's an extension of the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is an extension of the Jaguars, where it's like we're waiting for the opponent and we're waiting for Trevor Lawrence to do it in a game against an opponent that offers a ferocious defense, and he did it. And there was a wonderful little moment, I thought, in this broadcast. They did a good job where it talked about Liam Cohen digging into mounds of offensive game tape when he took over and changing the Trevor Lawrence stance in shotgun from right foot forward to left foot forward, and that it has triggered different types of play from Trevor Lawrence. Just digging into his mechanics, like coach quarterback relationship. And I feel like at some point we're going to get like an athletic article about like culture changers, because we've got it in Ben Johnson, right? We've got it in Liam Cohen. Like the Jaguars feel different right now to me because of a lot of the same players, but they're a completely different team and they keep passing tests. And it was a big thing to see Trevor Lawrence go and do this in a rough stadium to go play.
He has 18 touchdowns, 16 passing, 2 rushing during this Jaguars 6-game winning streak, 10 in the last 2 games. He is doing things that we expected him to do when he came into the league, and it never quite happened. And now we're in a situation now. They are a wrecking ball that is swinging back and forth with more and more force. They have outscored their previous 5 opponents before this game, 171-72. There were some soft opponents in there. This was not a soft opponent. And by the way, you go into this game, Sean Payton doesn't need any help with his ego and his thought on where he stands or where his team stands or where his opponent stands in terms of the big picture. He made a comment. I would imagine he meant it in a complimentary way as much as a Sean Payton can when he said that, they're a small market team, but they're doing good stuff. Liam Cohen, after the game, addressed that in a fun way.
Yeah, great team effort. Just thankful that a small market team like us can come into a place like Mile High and get it done.
I mean, we love it around these. And by the way, we're getting closer and closer to the 30K challenge. Conor Orr has the real dirt on Sean Payton. So if we get to 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, we'll hear Sean Payton. Who knows what he's going to do, Mark? What is it? What is it that Sean Payton said to Conor Orr? What was their interaction? What is it? Let's get to 30,000 and find out as a group.
Yeah, whenever you can get 2 Irish whites to go toe-to-toe verbally on our show, we go for it. So
Sean Payton white? I mean, Irish? I know he's white, but we'll have to look. Justin, can you find out his cultural origins, Sean Payton?
Yeah, maybe I misspoke there.
Other thoughts on this game? I thought, Justin, the Broncos offense also had a bad day. I thought they were going to go punch for punch. And then in the second half, it shifted. And one thing I think that you can definitely get on Peyton for is they stopped running the football in this game. They were running it well initially. They have right off the bat, McLaughlin runs for 25 yards on his first 2 carries. RJ Harvey, who looks great, had a beautiful 38-yard touchdown runs. But at the end of the third quarter, he has 6 carries, and they put a lot on Nick's plate. And in this case, it didn't pay off. And when they fell behind, in other cases this season, when this team falls behind, they have that magic in them. But there was no gear. So again, it's like it's the loss that is going to let a little doubt seep in around the Denver Broncos. But also look what the Jaguars did that everyone else seemed to be flummoxed by. How do you stop that Broncos orange surge? The Jacksonville Jaguars did it without a problem.
Yeah, and it's like, the Jags, the 6-game winning streak started after they collapsed against Houston, right? Blew a huge lead. And then they went out and shellacked the Chargers 35-6 the next week. Maybe the Broncos needed something like that to kickstart them again. Because like you said, they won 11 straight games. They're about to head into the playoffs. You don't want to head into the playoffs necessarily on a 13 or 14 game winning streak where you feel maybe like you can do nothing wrong. Like, go into this week of practice now and understand we do have vulnerabilities if we don't attack every week with the same ferocity. So maybe this will help them in the long run. But I thought the longer the game went on, the more rattled he looked by Jacksonville's defense. And it's interesting because Jacksonville's defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanile, I listened to the Athletic Football Show on Friday, and Robert Mays was talking about how he came from Green Bay and, runs a similar system to what they run in Green Bay. And the Broncos played Green Bay last week, and their offense was great last week. And I was wondering if some of those things that worked last week, maybe Campanile would see on tape and say, this is how I know that this scheme works in these situations. Maybe we tweak some stuff so it doesn't work as well 2 weeks in a row against a similar scheme. And I thought also that Trevor Lawrence was helped out by his playmakers quite a bit. Like Parker Washington, oh my gosh, how many times did he catch a ball at the sideline, turn it upfield?
It's like week after week with him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then at the same time, like Bo Nix, He laid up some hospital balls. I think he got Pat Bryant brutally injured in this game in a way that we'll wait to see on his status, but he had to be carted off on like a long stop down moment after the game was pretty much over with like less than 2 minutes to go, and they had to come back on the field. But also he laid a really nice ball up for Cortland Sutton deep down the field earlier in the game before things got out of hand, and Sutton goes up to catch it and just doesn't come down with the football. And it's like, one team, their quarterback's playing out of his mind, and his playmakers are making plays. And on the other side of the field, the quarterback looks a little shaky, and his playmakers aren't stepping up to help him.
So let's see. Let's see if Denver has shown themselves to be vulnerable or they had a bad day. That's the next thing to see. They have Kansas City at Kansas City on Christmas Day. Perfect time to get the Chiefs, who are on their like 14th string quarterback. But then they close home against the Chargers, and that top seed in the AFC, it's now wide open. Big one. Last note before we move on, and I don't want to be Scrooge about this because I love Christmas. I love the holiday season. I love the warmth that it generates, the nostalgia.
We know you do. We know you do.
Yeah, I watched, Connor, I watched the holiday special that you requested, or I put in a request with Connor. Hey, my wife and I, it's that time of year. Let's watch a Hallmark Christmas film, and Connor sent me one about a hospital torn asunder by a blizzard on Christmas Eve, and the magical woman at the center of all of it. And I was cool, although even in that movie, I was a little bit annoyed. I think this is what happened. A little bit annoyed that like they're having a crisis in this film. What's the name of the movie, Connor?
The More the Merrier. You passed up Melt My Heart This Christmas, which was a glass blowing theme. One, and also the Lacey Chabert vehicle. She's making a list, which like if you're going to do like Emmys, I think for most emotionally impactful Christmas movie, that's probably where the Academy's going to go.
Well, the More the Merrier on balance was fine. But the woman that at the center of it at the hospital was annoying me because there's lives in danger. She keeps on talking about Santa and Christmas and delivering cookies and candy canes. And it's like, hey, want some hot cocoa? It's like, focus on the task at hand. There's an emergency in a blizzard in a hospital that's losing power. Anyway.
Feels like a fair critique.
Take me to Kugler and Moose in the booth during this very important AFC clash. Check it on YouTube.
Oh. Good God.
I mean, let's just tone it down a little bit.
It's like the Kugler part, I can't really fix him, but like, what are we doing here, Moose Daryl Johnson with
Is that a woman's V-neck?
That's what I mean. It's like they were out of the Santa Claus costume, so he took the Mrs. Claus costume.
You'd
He's
think they'd
dressed
be
as a-
arrested in the stadium walking around that way, but I'm sure they were escorted.
Let's class it up. Let's tone it down.
They actually made a joke during the broadcast because they were talking about these weird.
It's like,
patches
Moose, you dressed as a woman today? Is that the joke?
You know these dumb patches the NFL's wearing to like celebrate Christmas or something. Like Moose said, actually to Kugler. Next year I heard they're going to use that shirt you're wearing as the design, as if he's not wearing a ridiculous looking thing himself.
I mean, if we're here, okay, we got to keep moving. But like, I also have a little bit of an issue with the logo that they're using. I know we're in a politically correct world, and I understand that not everyone celebrates Christmas. So I'm not saying it's got to be a patch of Jesus's baby face, right? Mm-hmm. But an NFL logo with two candy canes crossing over like swords. What do we? I mean, come on, everybody.
It's just become about confections at this point, right? Sure.
Candy canes. These are football players.
What would I'm just curious. Like you said, no Jesus. Are you doing like a Santa dropping back to throw an off-platform throw?
This?
Or what's
How about this? No f***ing patch.
Okay.
Yeah, let's, like, if we're so restricted, let's remove the...
And I love Christmas, but come on. If we're gonna water it down that far, where it's two crisscrossing candy canes, maybe we just nix the whole thing. All right. What was it was like in the back of the end zone was just like, let's end racism or whatever. It's like that was the best we could do. We couldn't like workshop that one a little more also.
Well, that did end racism. So
that did. Okay, yeah. We're clear of that now. I take that one back. All right, let's get to. All right, so the Jaguars win. They keep winning. Are they going to get the number 1 seed? They have a chance. The Houston Texans, they still want to win the AFC North or the AFC South, the division that the Jaguars seem to be in control of now. What did they do in Houston today? They did exactly what you thought, but not maybe how you thought they would do it. The Houston Texans got a touchdown pass from C.J. Stroud. Derek Stingley returned an interception for a score, a pick six that in the moment just felt like, oh, this is the beginning of a onslaught. But in the end, they needed every play because the final score in this one was 23-21. The Raiders hung around. They got a huge game from Ashton Genty, who had 2 long touchdowns. So credit Vegas for fighting at the end of a lost season, now 2-13. But it is the Texans, Mark, who move on 7 straight wins, and they stay in the chase for the AFC South and solidify their playoff standings.
Yeah, sort of an ugly win. They went 9 straight drives where they could not hit double-digit plays or find the end zone. It was the opposite of like a torturous act on the Raiders, and they kind of let the Raiders hang around. Raiders played a good game, but then on the 10th drive, they finally scored a touchdown. They got the pick six as well, and they're up by 2 scores at that point. It's like they're hanging on. But this felt to me, because the story is the Texans, and they're hanging around in the 7th wild card spot, and they did the job. And C.J. Stroud played well enough, although it was a bit of a concerning effort overall. But I thought this was the Raiders game that we thought we would get week after week. That is sort of the bigger note for me. I know they're fading away and they're being removed from the Polaroid, but like from Ashton Genty on down, like they kind of played the game that we thought we were going to get from them week after week and made something of this. But the Texans pulled it out. I was surprised that the Texans defense, which has been a beast week after week, just couldn't turn this thing into a bloodbath earlier. It just was a strange game and kind of a late December game where it's like the Texans are going to win this, but I don't come away with like 14 note cards about who they are or what they are. I feel like we saw that in previous weeks with the Texans.
All right. So what you're saying, Mark, is because we're going to get to it later. You were fired up on text about the Bills today, and and we'll get to that. But like, I don't see a big difference between what the Bills did against the Browns and what happened here with the Raiders and the Texans. Sometimes a game ends up a little tighter and you don't the operation isn't as clean. Maybe you're not as up as you would expect because you're a top team. You're going against the bottom team. And sometimes you just have to survive certain games and hope you don't get picked off and kind of mess up your season. And I think in both cases, and again, we'll get to the Bills, but in the case of the Texans, they left themselves wide open in this game and they managed to pull it out and move forward. And as a result, they still have a chance in the division. But yeah, especially on your point on the defense, I kind of expected the defense to throttle down because it's been playing so well and to force Geno Smith into a bunch of big mistakes and for Genti to be bottled up throughout. But everyone had their moments. The tight end for the Raiders made a play again. Like you were saying, it does feel like this was a little bit more like what the Pete Carroll vision was, and he was bouncing up and down on the sideline. So credit to the Raiders for fighting and for the Texans for handling one of these games that sometimes pop up.
Yeah, I think like when in recent weeks, we've seen the Texans offense look better than it's been. It starts with Nico Collins, right? And he was held to, I think, 59 yards on 4 catches today. So if you take that away, they don't have a very diversified run game. They're banged up on the ground, and that's not a big difference maker. And so you take away their star player, and you're in a close game. It also, to your point with the Bills and the Browns, it's just one of those of the hundreds of games that we watch. It was like, I'm not walking away with massive author notes about what the Texans are here. They got out of here with a win.
And Collins had a quiet game, but he made the big catch down the left sideline, getting his elbow down for about 20 yards, and that allowed them to kneel out the clock. So, and Stroud and Collins seem to have that little connection, even when they're cold during a day. There's usually Collins making a big play near the end of a game. So they survive, even if it wasn't pretty. They didn't even score a touchdown in this game, offensive touchdown, until 7:41 in the fourth quarter. So
no, it's like I said, it was 9 drives without one. It's like it just was a little abnormal.
All right. Anything else on this one?
Not a lot. I think I'm willing to give them a mulligan, even though they won, so they don't need a mulligan. But it just didn't look like them.
Let's then take a look at their upcoming schedule because, again, they're in a battle right now. They're a game behind Jacksonville with 2 to play. They have at Chargers next week and home Indianapolis. So that's a huge, and they're going to have to be much sharper against the Chargers, who are playing incredibly well themselves right now. All right, let's take a break, and when we get back, we will continue on and hit the Saturday games. Mark, you know how some people have a going out wardrobe? Mine is mostly activewear. It's true. I work out in it. I run errands in it. I travel in it. You name it. And lately it's been all Fabletics.
Yep, me too, Dan. Personally, I started with their high-waisted leggings and a cropped hoodie. And honestly, I didn't expect to love them as much as I do. The leggings don't roll down even during a workout, and the fabric feels way more premium than what I paid for.
Wow, the high-waisted leggings you went with, Mark.
Yeah.
And the best part, when I signed up as a new VIP, I got 80% off everything, which already felt like a steal. But the quality really surprised me. These pieces feel like, they feel like the kind of high-end activewear that you'd pay $200 for, but at a fraction of the price. And the joggers, they actually keep their shape after a full day of errands or even a long flight. I like wearing the joggers on a long flight. Some people are like, put a suit on. As I calm down, I'm about comfort. It also helps knowing that Fabletics has a community of over 2 million VIP members and more than 100 retail stores.
You are about comfort. It's one of those brands that, once you try it, you get it. The comfort, the fit, the value. Honestly, I didn't realize how much I'd wear Fabletics until I tried it. Now it's basically my everyday gear.
Fabletics already has amazing deals, but right now they're running their biggest sale of the year on top of that. Perfect timing with the holidays. And I've got an exclusive offer just for you, 80% off everything when you sign up as a VIP.
Head to Fabletics.com/HTC and sign up as a VIP to get 80% off everything. That's right. This is only available through our link. So go to Fabletics.com/HTC to sign up as a VIP and get 80% off. That's Fabletics.com/HTC.
All right. It is that time of year, boys. Saturday Night Football has returned. 2 games on Saturday, in fact, but let's start with the second game. It was an incredible comeback by the Bears, who just might have something special cooking this season. 16-6 was the score, with a little over 2 minutes to go in regulation. But the Bears, the cardiac kids, do it again. They kick a field goal, recover an onside kick, score a touchdown, force overtime, get a stop, and then a walk-off touchdown. Caleb Williams, 46 yards to DJ Moore in OT. And somehow, some way, the Bears win 22-16 over the Packers. Another game with huge implications in their division, this time the NFC North. The Bears move to 11-4. The Packers fall to 9-5-1. This was the first game without Parsons off the edge. This is also a game that the Packers play most of the game without Jordan Love, who goes out with a concussion in this game. And yet Malik Willis plays at a very high level, Sessy, and they are in position to win the game, and they let it slip away in crushing fashion. Credit the Bears, but this is one of those games where you don't know where to focus on, the collapse or the comeback.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears keep doing this, and it feels like weekly we are treated to locker room celebrations in Chicago with Ben Johnson basically saying, we knew we could do this, and we did it week after week. Like, they have found their way back into these games. And to get the onside kick, like, how hard is that in today's game right now? It is such a rarity. And I know Romeo Doubs wants that play over again, but that moment changed everything. But that's what the Bears season feels like to me, that you're down at that point, 16-9, you get the onside kick, and then Caleb Williams, who is playing at a level we've never seen him play at before, and it has a lot to do with coaching, it has to do with care, it has a lot to do with experience, more experience, goes 6 of 8 on the ensuing drive and throws that touchdown pass to Jedi Walker, and then it's tied. You go to overtime, and you absolutely unfurl magic. After stopping the Packers, they recover their own fumble short of the first down. And then you throw that pass to DJ Moore, which was a beautiful, beautiful pass. And I just feel like we're learning and seeing more from Caleb Williams and this entire team, but he's at the center of it week after week. And this game changed my feelings about them a little bit, where it's like, I think they will be in the NFC title game because they're a complete team. It was their defense too, because Malik Willis, which has been a great coaching project for the Packers, played really well in this. It wasn't Jordan Love went out and everything fell apart. This was a Bears win. Let's
check in on Caleb Williams, and then we'll get to the Packers side of it.
I got the best coach in the world. Let's put it that way. And we have the best coaching staff in the world. And so you put the talent with the coaches and the people that care. You can strive for anything. You can reach anything. You can go after any goal. And when you go out there in that football field, your belief is at an all-time high between players, between coaches. And, you have outcomes like this.
Conor, what a difference a year makes, I should say, when you had all the coaching dysfunction in Chicago and Caleb Williams' dad making waves this summer with comments about Chicago and not wanting to be a Bear. And now you got to late December and Williams is talking about that he has the best coach in the world. I guess things got back on the right track, and maybe his dad is like, I should have probably shut the hell up.
It's what you said too. It's like winning fixes all the things that you may come to not like about someone. And that's true of Ben Johnson too. Like in year 3, he could be authoritarian and pedantic and no one could want to work for him. And he could be the torture genius who never quite replicate. Like, we don't know what the future holds, but they're winning close 1-score games, which is the remedy for all that ails. But for Johnson in particular, and I thought like sort of in the margins, I mean, Cairo Santos was fantastic in this game. And how many Bears games have come down to like these awful special teams gaffes in the past, and he's crushing it in like driving left to right wind, which is almost impossible to kick in. Then he gets the onside kick. Ben Johnson having the wherewithal to use the wind to his advantage, not the way that he handled overtime and played it the way he did. I mean, I just thought the whole thing was so smart. I mean, Caleb's right, and everybody's got the faith now.
Is anybody else wildly impressed with Williams as I am? I thought he was impressive last year when on a bad team with all that dysfunction around him, he was tough as nails. He had some moments and you kind of saw enough. I saw the vision of this guy, what he could be. And once again, and it's not like we're not breaking any news here, but any team that is going through a new fresh coaching cycle that's studying what Conor reported and put out over at SI, Like, go find yourself a sharp, bright, young offensive mind and see if you could click in the way the Bears have clicked in with Ben Johnson, the way the Jags have clicked in with Liam Cohen. Like, this is the way to do it. And like that throw at the end of the fourth quarter, that was an amazing play where he looked like a number 1 overall pick leading a team. Remember, this is a Bears team, Mark, that has never really had a quarterback. And I think it's starting to come into focus, and that celebration at Soldier Field, and what a beautiful moment that was for Bears fans. It's like, we have a guy now. We have a team. This could be special.
Yeah, I was thinking like one of the first Super Bowls I ever watched was Bears Patriots, right? The 85 Bears blowing the doors off the New England Patriots, a lesser operation at that point. And thinking that if you were a fan of the Bears back then, that ever since, because even that team with Jim McMahon was not a quarterback-heavy team. It was run by the defense. Like, they've never had that quarterback that they've groomed from start to finish with a coach like this. Like, it's the perfect 20-25 combination of mind and power. But, Connor, I know that you know Ben Johnson a little bit, and I think part of it is not just offensive mind. He's a bit of a psycho, and you can see that in these like locker room celebrations. And I think that like Caleb Williams, for all that he went through a year ago, and I know his dad complained, but you didn't hear Caleb Williams openly complaining. Like, he handled it well, and he's getting now treated the way that a franchise quarterback should, and the results are glowing.
Not to, Ben could have controlled his destiny, right? And, he famously stayed home and decided not to bring in the Commanders when they wanted to interview with him. And that would have been the job that he ended up inheriting, Jaden Daniels. But when he came out into the market, like, he knew, and he had his agent put out there the fact that I'm not taking a job that I'm not pretty confident I can succeed in with a GM and a quarterback. And quarterback was 90% of this, right? And I think that spoke to how good Caleb Williams probably was, because you're not going to risk your reputation and that one shot that you have staying in the division and playing a team twice a year as good as the Lions, because you knew that, unless you thought Caleb Williams was special. And I think that's what we all kind of missed. Like, Ben Johnson was so high on this guy that he took a big risk, and he took this job in the first place.
The Packers will almost certainly make the playoffs. What happened with the Lions today certainly helped on that front as well. But this could be the one that cost them the division, that could, cost them a top seed, could cost them playoff games at Lambeau Field. It will reverberate, and you could, tell with LaFleur after the game that they knew they let a golden opportunity slip away.
That's the reality of it. And, it should hurt, because these guys, all of us, we put a lot into this thing, and you had opportunities. You're up 2 scores late in the game, and unfortunately, it flipped pretty quick.
Well, you're watching another team in your division take center stage. You lost your quarterback after losing your star pass rusher. It's getting late early for the Packers. Like, they need to get their health under control and forge on. But
even Malik Willis is banged up coming out of this game, and I don't want to totally gloss over that, because Malik Willis was awesome in this game, and this is not the first time Willis has been a really important figure for the Packers since they brought him over, and nobody thought anything of it because he bombed out in Tennessee. What was he, a second-round pick, Justin? And nothing ever happened there. Third-round pick. And now with Green Bay, every time they've needed him, and he came in cold off the concussion from Jordan Love, and he led this offense. We'll see if Love's available for Week 17, and we'll find out what Willis's health situation is. But that is a brutal, brutal loss, man. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how they come back from that. All right, let's move on to the other Saturday game in Washington. We're close enough. Landover?
Yes.
What state is that in?
Maryland.
Apologies to anyone from Landover. The Eagles are NFC East champions, and it's the first time an NFC East team has went back-to-back as division champions in 7,000 years. I don't actually know the exact number, but it's been a long time. They took care of business against the beat-up Washington Commanders team that, in addition to not having Jaden Daniels, also lost Marcus Mariota in this game, and on a game when Saquon Barkley once again looked like Saquon Barkley again, the Eagles cruised to a 29-18 win. After the game, Connor, Nick Sirianni, and other Eagles players were wearing a black T-shirt with the words "Been there, won that" in the locker room. And I don't want to make light of it, although we'll see what happens with the Eagles in the playoffs. But this schedule, the way it's worked out, they're starting to get their mojo and they're calming things down. And now they got a division title because in addition to the schedule softening up, the Cowboys collapsed, and that's all good.
I mean, I think the best thing out of all this is you start this game in the most horrendous fashion humanly possible, and it looks like you're going in for a full-on disaster, and then what comes of it is 22 straight points coming out of halftime, and probably the best, most creative, and most malleable that your offense has looked all season. And part of that, like we've talked about before, is, we gloss over the fact that Saquon Barkley made a lot of fabulous plays in the backfield after first contact last year, and that saved the idea of this offense. He did that again tonight, but you also blocked really well. You shifted tempo. I thought this was one of Patullo's better games as an offensive play caller. And so all of a sudden, like all this drama behind you, you're probably going to win like 11 games, 12 games, and just like roll into the playoffs. So good for them.
I mean, they overcome two killer missed field goals and that fumble, uncharacteristic, and they still put up 29 points. Like, I'm with you in the sense that, like, can we let it go for a couple weeks? Like, I'm not saying they're soaring to the Super Bowl, but, like, the drama and, like, A.J. Brown got fed. Saquon Barkley had a big game. Like, what else are we looking for that we want to latch on to and critique?
Which we were talking about a week ago. It's like, we fully expect them to take care of business here. And if they don't, it will be a major problem, but they have. So they've won the division. Now, hopefully they can stay healthy. And then we see where they are when the schedule tightens up again, and how they handle adversity and obviously a higher level of competitions. The Jake Elliott thing is something to keep an eye on. He's been very good for them overall through the years. But he pushed 3 left in this game, which, depending on who you want to believe, that is why Nick Sirianni decided to go for 2 in the final minutes of this game after they scored the icing on the cake touchdown, which led to the big brawl, which led to Big Dom getting camera time. I don't know if you guys were still watching at that point, but there's a big shot of Big Dom like walking back after, I guess, sending some guys to the locker room. Is like, this guy is loving it. But like, keep an eye on the kicking game. And other than that, stay healthy, Eagles, and then you're going to get your home game. You're not going to have home field throughout. You're not going to be a heavy favorite the way you were last year. But it doesn't mean you can't go on a run. Again, the NFL is super weird this year. And Connor, a lot of things can happen, including the Eagles getting back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they were my preseason Super Bowl pick. I think they're still there. I think that I just want to double back on the Big Dom thing for 1 second, because his presence is so phenomenal in that it makes everybody else seem wrong in a fight and the Eagles like endearing in some way. And like, how does that happen where like they're all high-fiving each other, like, and somehow claiming the moral high ground? And how does that happen literally every time? And I think it's like Dom somehow, he's just like charming, or I don't know what it is that makes them.
Opinions vary on that, but I'm glad you find him charming. But and one last note on this game, after the quotes
Dominic DeSandro, Big
he finds him
Dom,
charming.
and
There's
he's
some company for
sort of a legend.
Great.
After the game, the multiple Commanders guys are like, well, we'll see them in 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. Like, oh, it's cute that they think that's a real game. What a lost season for the Commanders. Is there a more disappointing team in the league this year?
Yes, but
who?
I mean, well, I would call the
They
Falcons.
were in the NFC title game last year.
The Falcons are disappointing.
The Falcons.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
The Bengals.
The Falcons, Cessy.
Well, no, I mean, these are like teams that
the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. The Commanders are in the NFC title game.
Well, you lose your quarterback for 2 months. Like, I mean, you know.
I mean, there are reasons why, but Dan Quinn, for a guy that went to the NFC title game last year, I think he's safe, but the pressure is going to be on next year. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. Let's keep moving back to Sunday and back to Tampa, where the Bucs are trying to
talk about a disappointing team.
Yeah, with the Panthers on the rise. Yes, the Carolina Panthers let's face it, the NFL season's long, and there were probably about 3 or 4 times when we thought not only were the Panthers going nowhere, but we were going to spend the last 4 weeks talking about, who are they going to take? What's the quarterback they're going to take in the draft? It's time to hit the reboot button. Is Dave Canales going to keep his job? I think the Panthers are going to win this damn division is what's going to happen here. As Baker Mayfield throws an interception on the final drive of the game, a pick by Latham Ransom with 42 seconds left, that was the difference in a 23-20 win for the Panthers in Charlotte. A massive win for Carolina, who moves to 8-7. The Bucks continue just a brutal tailspin, now 7-8. And Connor, this is the game. We all know what happened to the Bucks on Thursday Night Football a week ago. It was one of the worst losses of the year, if not the worst loss of the year. When you look at, although the Packers are like, we got you. How about this one? But then to follow up with this game in which the ball's in Baker's hands near midfield with a chance to be hero, and then he also gags it. It's just, that was like the final proof. Like, there is no magic left around this team, and it might be the Bucks who have the big changes in the offseason.
Yeah, and it's so weird because everything about this team, it comes to me as like they have this split personality where it's you boast that you have all these great veteran players, and then you make a bunch of dumb mistakes. Like, even to start that potential game-winning drive, you had a player headbutt another Panthers player. It cost you 15 yards at the start of the drive to kick you back. You have these great play calls from Grizzard where you're third, or I think they were 6th in the league in explosive play rate. And then when you get down to the goal line and you can put the Panthers away early in this game, they put Vita Vea in at fullback, right? And they did this offset eye. Well, the Panthers sent every single one of their defensive linemen right in that direction. They were running a toss, and Tucker was stopped like 6 yards in the backfield. And so it's like everything they do well and is a strength of theirs. There's also this weird bizarro version of them that just takes them 9 steps backwards. And it was so striking to see that all play out live in this one.
And remember, this is 2 years in a row where the Bucks had a really great offense with a great young play caller, and they get head coaching jobs. I think it was Canales, and then Liam Cohen, of course, is Josh Grizzard. Is that how you pronounce it? Who gets the promotion in-house. And I'm not saying this is all at his feet, but the Bucks offense is absolutely cratered, especially when compared to where they were the last 2 years and early this season. Here's Baker after the game.
We're at right now. Got to win out to win the division and get in the playoffs. That's, it's as clear as it can be. Wish we would have taken care of business today, but the situation doesn't change. So, it sucks. There's too many penalties on offense today. Just keep shooting ourselves in the foot, and got to finish with 7 in the red zone instead of 3. It's same story, different day.
I mean, they've lost 6 of 7. This is not the team from earlier this year that was a holy fire, and it's one of the first couple of weeks in a row where I've kind of been like, this is reminding me of the Baker Mayfield later in the Cleveland run, where they came to it could have been the wrong decision. I think it was, but they came to a decision that, like, we're not extending Baker Mayfield for 4 or 5 years. Like, what's the ceiling? Like, I think we saw the ceiling. I love Baker Mayfield, but like, this is sort of where you wind up. And there was a chance to win this game today, and instead it ends on a key mistake. Again, you've lost 6 of 7. You're not the football team. You're not the sum of your parts.
And let's swing to the Panthers side, but before we do, just mention, I think if there was a big change in Tampa, I don't think it's the quarterback. I think it's head coach Todd Bowles.
I'd agree with you, but I think we've seen the ceiling for Baker Mayfield.
Maybe. And if this is the ceiling, then he's not the answer either. But I'm not quite ready to bury Baker in that way. I just think this is, maybe things have gotten a little stale in Tampa, and they need to set him up a little better. On the other side, let's listen to Canales. This is obviously an important win for him personally and for his team. Here's what he had to say afterwards.
Everything's right in front of us still, and to give ourselves a chance to continue to play meaningful football this time of year, they've earned that. They've earned that because of the work. They've earned that because of being accountable to each other and really having a great week of preparation. And I think I mentioned to all of you just the focus that this group had this week and understanding what's in front of us. And my message to them was like, we've been playing playoff football for a really long time. And because of our record early on, every single one of those games, for the last month have been so critical for us to be in this spot. And so we get another week.
Let's just look back now. I mean, this is when Dave Canales benched Bryce Young. Everybody thought that this was, like you said, Dan, kind of the beginning of the end. And since that moment, okay, this is 24 games ago now, okay, 68 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, a passer rating of almost 100, and 10 game-winning drives. That's ridiculous. And the totality of this turnaround, I mean, I've argued Canales as a coach of the year candidate because I think you have to consider the beginning of the tenure. And I think it's always crazy that Dan Campbell hasn't gotten one. But this is the same thing. This was an irreparably broken place. And they're doing it with Rico Dowdle didn't even average 4 yards a carry today. A lot of these Panthers games, you finish them and you're still like, how did they win that game? I don't know. And I think that's the mark of good situational coaching.
Remember, they were like a laughingstock last year, too, with Tepper doing dumbass stuff and from the owner's suite.
Yeah.
It just felt like it was a house of cards. They had a practice facility that was like collecting dust, like Tony Soprano's wife, her spec house in the woods. Like the whole thing seemed like this is the most rundown, janky organization in the world. And now they could end up being the NFC South champions. They can win the division next week with a win combined with the Tampa loss. If everything holds after next week, it does come down to week 18 when these two teams face off. But Bryce Young now has 12 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter of overtime, the most since entering the league in 2023. And obviously this is his most important one yet. And one of the more unlikely turnarounds of the season is where the Panthers are, but it's been a combination. I think that's why we led, Mark, with the Bucs side of it, because I don't think if anything, this was the year the Bucs are supposed to take the next step, and instead they've taken a big step back. And credit to the Panthers, they have taken advantage of Tampa's shortcomings.
Yeah, when we talk about disappointing teams, like Tampa fits like a glove right into that category. And at this point, I feel like Carolina deserves to win this division. I know they're going to meet again at one point. My one thing with game-winning drives, it also means you're down. Like you didn't forge a lead. Whatever, that's fine. I know that stats thrown all over the place, but it also means you weren't ahead. But I get that. It's heroic.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I understand you're putting it in. You're giving a little more context on it. And that's
you
fair,
didn't.
Mark. Yeah.
You didn't forge a lead earlier in the game, so maybe you will now.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
not to pour
grain of salt.
Cold water on that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. You put it doused it with a little bit of cold water. Just a little bit. But still, big win for the Panthers. All right, let's move to Dallas, another team in free fall. You know, we gave Brian Schottenheimer all those flowers. Shut up, Connor. Gave him all those flowers, Jerry Jones.
Who gave him flowers? Not me.
Not
shut
you.
Up.
I know.
Okay.
No, I'm preemptively saying shut up because you were saying the Cowboys sucked all along.
Okay, thank you.
And what do? They totally laid down. But I can't really get down on them today because the Chargers are going to make a lot of people look bad. And the Chargers are a team to reckon with. We saw it again in Jarrow World where Justin Herbert playing at an extremely high level goes 23 of 29 for 300 yards on the nose, averaging over 10 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the Cowboys have no answers. Final score, Bolts 34, Cowboys 17, Chargers 11-4, and with the loss by the Broncos, that's very important. How the AFC West shakes out, the Dallas Cowboys are now 6-8-1 and deeply out of the mix. Connor, what'd you take away from this one?
Season high 452 yards of offense for the Chargers with tackles who at the beginning of the year on the depth chart would have been their 5th and 6th string offensive tackles. I mean, Quentin Johnston's back rolling again. And there's a grittiness to this team that just goes beyond him. And maybe, kind of like it did last year, the totality of everything will collapse and they'll lose in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, there's always the possibility that happens, but there is just a grittiness to this team that is unlike anything else in the NFL. It really is something.
I mean, we talk about different coach of the year candidates, and you could make a case this year for like 5 or 6 guys. Jim Harbaugh's not going to get it, Mark, just because I feel like it's a buzzy award that you're probably going to give it to an upstart team. But what Harbaugh's been able to do with not just injuries, but devastating injuries to both of the star tackles. They survived the quarterback getting hurt, the playmakers on both sides of the ball going down in different spots, and they keep winning, and they're surging ahead. Like Harbaugh and his coaching staff, just like Matt Money Smith said back in August on the show, watch out. This is the best coaching staff in the league. They have had this team prepared week after week. And when you see games like this, where the offense can flip a switch and just start running people out of the building, they're a team that could beat you in multiple ways, and that's how you win Super Bowls.
Yeah, they overcome. And I think typically Coach of the Year is a figure that surprises us. But I'm not surprised by Jim Harbaugh doing this, because he runs a tight ship. We've seen it before, so the narrative is a little bit different than some of these new guys. But man, I thought it was just beyond the offense and all the yardage they put up, and with all the injuries, like to stop the Cowboys on downs 2 times in a row, then generate a fumble. There was a 4th and 1 play where the Chargers just stood up and stopped Dallas, and they took Dallas out of the game. And it's like, this is a pretty complete team. They're really well coached. Jesse Minter has got this defense playing really well. And it's like, I don't think this is the team you want to run into in the wild card round.
Mm-mm. On the flip side, so I mean, I think that this is a game of consequence for Dallas, because you can always read the tea leaves and you can kind of see what a coaching staff is thinking. We made a big deal earlier in the season when the Falcons flipped Zach Robinson to the field from the booth. They did the opposite with Eberflus. They moved him from the field up into the press box to see if he could see the game better, and then for him to then go out and give up a season high 452 yards, I think was sort of a backbreaker on the Eberflus tenure. I'm surprised he made it, to be honest, through the length of the season, especially when Jerry Jones started talking trash about him. But, I think that's going to be perhaps the central focus of Dallas's offseason at this point, is can they get a coordinator in here to kind of make these pieces work?
Yeah, and one more thing on the Herbert side of things. The last 2 weeks, when they grinded out wins and low-scoring affairs, they did it where it felt like they're managing the Herbert hand issue. He had the surgery a couple weeks back now. But this game was the first time I was like, all right, he's still got the wrap on his hand and everything, but he didn't seem affected in the same way. And in addition for throwing for 300 yards, he runs for nearly 50 yards. And he looks like that guy. Again, here's Herbert on the status of his hand injury after the game.
Yeah, it's getting better. I think the swelling's going down. I got much better grip on the ball now, and so I think every week, every day helps, and just getting used to it and allowing the bone to heal. So it's been good so far.
He's got it all.
Tough old boy.
Tough old boy. Jared probably just was watching that game. He's like, I like that boy. He
well, you can't have him.
Star on his helmet.
Have another vodka.
Maybe I'll pick up the phone. I'm a master deal maker. It's like, is this the Titans owner? Bring me that boy to my pool.
We certainly have made a trade.
Mark, when I open the door for a little Strunko, I need something from you.
She's like, I'm just going to dip from the kneecap down both of my legs into the pool and just see if it mixes with the drink I'm putting into my mouth.
Let me peel off these compression socks. It's an unseasonably warm day down south. I love it down here south.
You said there's a football game on? It was my team.
Are we playing Patrick Mahomes today?
It's like,
I bet we vanquish him.
Read a newspaper.
You guys watched the new Knives Out? Sounds like it.
No, I haven't. But
come
I get the
on,
reference.
It was good.
I get the reference.
We watched it last night. It was great.
Yeah. All right.
More on that, Justin. What else did you?
More on that later. I will tell you in the Coach of the Year odds currently on DraftKings that Jim Harbaugh is tied for 8th highest odds, which sounds high, but it's not. It's a 200-1 long shot right now, so I don't think it's going to happen.
Take it. I mean, that's a good one for one of your little dummy sheets, Justin. The little $8 bet, 200-1.
Yeah,
pay for your
$10
bachelor
to win
party.
$2,000.
Where are you going for your bachelor party, by the way? What is it? What's the Graver bachelor party going to look like? Is it going to be debaucherous?
Lake House.
No.
Lake House.
No. No. We're actually doing what we're calling a batch party. So we're inviting all of the groomsmen and all of the bridesmaids to party together. And I think it's going to be really fun and great, and a great way to sort of break the ice so that the wedding is more fun, because this will be a group of people that have all partied together before, and it's going to be awesome. Most of the people in the wedding party are with somebody. Almost everybody is with somebody. There's only a handful of.
But we'll be breaking the ice. We'll be breaking the ice at the wedding because we were not invited to said event. So
I mean, is this a normal thing now?
I bet more and more.
I think so. I mean, my bachelor party was never going to be like strippers and cocaine. Or
I know.
Like
well,
that.
that's the thing. It doesn't
have
have to be that
strippers
either.
and cocaine. You can pick one or the other.
Yeah. You don't have to go to Mexico and kill a guy. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't very bad things. This is a chance to get. You know what? I'm not gonna. I hope you guys have a great time.
We will have
also like judging
like
cocaine and strippers from a certain point of view is a little judgy. Just a little judgy.
I'm just saying, it's not the 90s anymore. That's all.
The 90s. By the way, Chargers Texans next Saturday. That's going to be the shit. All right, let's move on. It's not the 90s. Actually, let's take a break and just recover.
A batch? It's called a batch party?
Yeah, we're calling it Batch Paradise because it sounds like Bachelor in Paradise, and it's not in Paradise. It's in
Certainly not Paradise.
in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Jesus.
No, it's going to be great, though. I'm super pumped for it.
I don't know what Mark seems to be sitting out the discourse, but like...
Oh, no, I'm judging it thoroughly, but I can't... I also think it's like I can't change it. Nothing's going to change at this point, so...
But maybe like we're like kind of big brother types to Justin. Maybe we can be the change we want to see in the world. You know what I mean?
It's already booked.
Shit.
I think you should take an accounting of the men that you're bringing to this and know fully that they want to do this with a bunch of the other sex also versus like a guy hangout. Like that's all. Because it's like I feel like guys probably are like, all right, we're all going. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, I think
we're
you
all
are
doing
wrong.
this.
I mean, hey guys, do you want to go hang out with a bunch of dudes, or do you want to like hang out with dudes and girls?
Yes.
What are guys gonna say?
Okay,
dudes.
I'm gonna stick a pin in this one.
Yeah.
Sound off in the comments. Is Justin making a
we're gonna
mistake?
get filleted for this from a.
We'll be right back.
Winter weather changes fast, cold, wet, and windy, sometimes all in one shift. And when you're working through all of that, your gear can't be an afterthought. True Work is performance workwear built like it matters, because it does, Dan.
That's right, Mark. True Work was founded by a trade professional who was tired of wet, heavy, outdated gear slowing him down. So he set out to make workwear that actually supports the people doing the real work out there. Everything they make is designed with advanced performance fabrics for lasting comfort, all-day mobility, and year-round job site protection, no matter what the weather decides to do.
And the thing I love is that True Work tests every single piece on an actual job site with real trade pros. So when conditions change on you halfway through the day, you're still ready. It's why they have over 50,000 five-star reviews from pros in every trade and every climate. I've been wearing the M3 Whoopee hoodie, and it's quickly become a staple. Wind-resistant, insulated, and honestly just crazy comfortable. It's the perfect layer when the day can't make up its mind. We wear True Work, and you should too.
And here's a little admission. Mark and I aren't out there in the fields and on construction sites and in harsh conditions when we do the podcast. These hands are soft. However, True Work looks great, and we wear it, and it makes us like look very masculine, and that works for us too. Upgrade your day with workwear built like it matters. Get 15% off your first order at truework.com with the code HTC. That's TRUEWERK.com. All right, the AFC is wide open. The Bills, they're looking to win a division. They're looking to get a top seed. Well, they got to take care of some business in Cleveland first. Let's head there. I like this one. The song. Game was fun. The Buffalo Bills. What are you going to get from the Bills week to week? You don't even know what you're going to get from the Bills quarter to quarter, it seems sometimes. Remember, this team was down 21-0 to a team on a double-digit win streak, and then just kicked the shit out of that team the last 2.5 quarters to win. Then they go to Cleveland against the 3-11 Browns, and the Browns give them all they can handle. Luckily, the Bills have James Cook, who absolutely fillets the Cleveland defense in this game. 2 touchdowns, big plays, and that is the difference in a 23-20 win for the Bills. They do get to 11-4. The Browns do fall to 3-12, and Myles Garrett is credited with half a sack, and a very strange credit of half a sack. I don't know if we really need to dig into it, but he is now 1 full sack short of setting the NFL record. He's sitting on 22 now. So that is the Browns side of this. Quinshon Judkins suffers a terrible leg injury in this game, Mark. He is out for the year and hopefully has a speedy and uneventful recovery process. But the Bills survive. They don't look great, but they survive.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to draw the parallel to the Texans that we did before, that it was just one of these like late season games where Buffalo just looked kind of like, they kind of remind me sometimes when you have like, when you're growing up and you have like a guy friend who's like hot and fit and yet he's got self-confidence issues. Like, why aren't you devastating the countryside with what God has given you? But like the Bills today just kind of like hanging around, like not flexing their muscles. And I will say one thing, like Cleveland's got a bunch of young players. We've talked about it multiple weeks, but Harold Fannin is a star, and the Bills had no answer for him. And Shedeur Sanders continues to make a couple plays a game that kept Cleveland in this thing. And they found a way to, you're right that it was Cook. Like that's what it was, Cook and really nothing else. It's almost like the Bills said, we're just going to show you about half our offense and see if we can hang on here. And that's what occurred. It wasn't like it was in threat that Cleveland was going to win this. The score's close, but like to me, Cleveland hung around based on their young talent, but Buffalo did not need to go nuclear to win this.
Well, you
thing.
were trashing the Bills in the text thread, Mark. So why don't
think
you
the Bills,
speak on that?
Because I think I said it. I think they're like why aren't you much better than this?
No,
why
speak on what you said on the text thread, Mark. Let it all out.
Well, why aren't you dominating what's meant to be the second or third team?
You said more than that. Go ahead.
Recall what did I say? Because
You said they were lambs being led to slaughter in January. That they were done. That they are not for real. And
I think they will be.
Okay.
But I've said that before too. I think that they are a team that people are clinging to because there's a lot of newness in the playoffs, and the Bills are the thing we can rely on. They are susceptible to stinkers, and this was not one today entirely because you won. But what happened today, and why? Why aren't you blowing this team out? I'm
of two minds because like the Browns, despite their terrible record, and your window is closed. Their run defense, which has gotten progressively worse in the back end of the season, was really bad in this game to the point when there were a couple drives. I think the Bills scored in their first 3 drives of this game, and then they went cold in this game. Josh Allen didn't even have a touchdown in this game. Dawson Knox had a terrible drop late in the game that had fantasy owners like myself screaming at the heavens. But there was moments in this game where they were just giving it to James Cook, same play over and over again. He just went straight down the field and into the end zone. Yeah. But to your point, the offense that they called, which isn't the first time we've seen this Bills offense. The last time I saw it is when they had that game when both tackles were out a few weeks back, and it's very conservative in terms of the downfield passing or lack thereof. You kind of had that type of attack from Buffalo. Maybe a lot of that was to try to neutralize the Myles Garrett threat. But they got a great job. They did a great job containing Garrett, who I think had one hurry in the game, in this game. But overall, it wasn't an overwhelming effort. But James Cook is the guy that, his ascension to being a true star and a compliment takes a lot off Josh Allen's shoulders, to the point where Allen could have a 0 touchdown game and they still find a way to win. Here is Allen after the game about his halfback.
I mean, he's the best back in football. I don't know how awards shake out, but I mean, he should be in the running for every award. He's an absolute stud. We love having him, and he makes our offense go.
I mean, there are quarters at a time where he looks like the best running back in the league, and to the point of like the Bills weren't like a blooming flower today on offense. They just didn't need to be. I think this was just sort of more prosaic. Like, let's get out of here with a win. Josh Allen was banged up at one point. That raised some concern. It's like, I think it was just like, let's survive this and move on. And I will say one last thing, and then I'll pass it to you guys. But it's like, on the Myles Garrett front, they play the Steelers in Cleveland next week. This needs to happen next week because I don't want it going to week 18 and I got to hear a bunch of asterisks talk from a bunch of Bill James, baseball encyclopedia people. Like, get it done next week, and I don't want it compared with history.
I just have a quick question. Because I did not have eyes on this game, but there was I guess there was a Sean McDermott glasses versus non-glasses graphic. And I need to see this.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's this is up Connor's.
Didn't we kind of we found this corner?
For sure. Yeah.
We did ask Sean about this during our call on Saturday, and he said it started with his son alerting him to the fact that Bills Mafia was talking about the glasses and the record, as you saw there, just being much more positive without. And then his wife endorsed, so that's why you no longer see
3 and
lenses.
3
but they
with
were
glasses.
prescription guys. This wasn't just a style thing for Sean.
7-1 without glasses. We call them the adultery glasses.
And notice that he had to hammer home the fact that these were prescription glasses and not for style. So I think this is something that McDermott wants out there right now. Yeah.
The two of you came up with your own multiverse reality to what's happening here, that he's prowling the streets. Like
it seemed to be a little bit more to it about like what's going on with Sean. And I still, not that I want anything, negative to come out of his personal life and into the public, Connor, but like that this was like the dad who's out at the end of the bar and he's got a new shirt that he picked up at the mall, and he's like, all right, I'm going to put these glasses on. And these glasses might go into the glove compartment when he goes into the house for dinner. That's all.
Two things, like the graphic when they split it without the glasses, having him squinting was just exquisite work by CBS to make him look like he actually can't see what's going on the field. I thought that was like one of my favorite things ever. And also, like, if they are prescription, like, let him wear the glasses. Like, I don't care if you're losing. Like, he is the play calling defensive coordinator. He should have glasses if he can't see. But the other part of this, you get a role in a major motion picture. He had a cameo in Hallmark: A Bill's Love Story. All of a sudden the fashion changes. A lot of stuff. Maybe the life, maybe home, everything's just a little bit different now. I don't know. So
yeah, he was good in that film too.
He was great.
He did a nice job.
All right, let's head to the Meadowlands. Yikes. I mean, Giants, Vikings. First day of winter. Who wants it? J.J. McCarthy ran for a touchdown in this game, but then he banged up his right hand, and then they have a shot on the sideline of, I guess, the athletic trainer examining the hand, and then McCarthy recoils as if he had just been shot, and that was the end of his day. So once again, J.J. McCarthy exits a game before halftime. Max Brosmer gets another chance, to say something about himself after that disastrous game in Seattle a few weeks back. And this time he helps the Vikings win their third game in a row, beating the Giants 16-13. Both teams eliminated from playoffs, and it was the Vikings that come out of this with the win. Justin, the McCarthy injury, I think we learned after the game that they don't believe it's a break in the hand, so maybe his season isn't over. But in terms of what this season, the rest of the season was supposed to be for the Vikings, an evaluation, and including and especially at the game's most important position, just another setback for Minnesota, despite the win.
Yeah, and it's difficult, too, because I thought he was playing fairly well before he got hurt. And on the play he got hurt, he did, get strip sacked, and that was picked up in return for the only Giants touchdown of the day. So not necessarily a positive play for McCarthy there, but the one thing that I really keyed in on that he was doing early and often was targeting Justin Jefferson, which we've been waiting for this connection to develop. And he was targeting him on 3rd and longs, short of the sticks. One of them was like a designed screen, and Jefferson is picking up these first downs. It's almost like, hey, throw me the ball and I will make good things happen for our offense. Like 3rd and 9, he catches it 2 yards downfield and just like weaves his way for a first down, or on one it was like 3rd and 13 and he picked up 12 yards, which allowed them to go for it on 4th down. Like all these moments where it's like, okay, Justin Jefferson is alive and producing, and that was good to see. But to your point, your best ability, what do they always say, is availability. And if McCarthy can't be available, then what is he? He's not worth anything to you. So I don't know. I'll be very curious to see how they handle the quarterback position in the offseason. Do they bring in one of these vets? Is like a Tua or a Kyler or one of these type of guys available? Do they have a competition in training camp, or do they just wait in the wings for McCarthy to get hurt again, and then maybe they don't give the job up because they're being coached by Kevin O'Connell, who does great work with these veteran quarterbacks? So I don't know. It was curious and a bummer for Vikings fans who are holding out hope for this young player and for himself, of course.
I think they've been pretty clear that it seems clear that they're going to bring in a veteran to compete on some level. I mean, this is one of these games where the box score is sort of arresting. The leading receiver for the Giants had 19 yards. And Jackson Dart threw for 33 yards over 4 quarters of pro football action. Like
that's the key, is Jackson Dart threw for 33 yards. But it was like, this is I would say the most neutered I've ever seen an offensive game plan try to work around a starting quarterback, right? This isn't like your 3rd string quarterback being inserted into the game, so we're going to protect him. This isn't Kendall Hinton starting for the Broncos, so we're going to run, a triple option offense. This is your starting quarterback 1st round pick. And they literally just didn't have him drop back. It was like handoff the whole game. And first half, he finished 1 for 5 for 2 yards with an interception that was deflected. Sort of his fault. He threw it a little too inside, but also don't tip the ball right to the defense receiver. And 3 sacks taken. So 3 sacks taken to 1 completion at halftime. They just didn't want him to do anything.
Here's the thing.
And he also didn't throw a lot of good passes.
No, here's the thing. This is all new, right? The Giants, they're a Tiffany franchise, right? They don't do anything right anymore. They don't hire the right people. They don't draft the right guys. They got Jackson Dart is a kid with potential. We've seen it already this season, but they clearly seem to be coaching him in a way like, hey, make sure you don't get another brain injury the rest of the season. And we're going to completely deconstruct the playbook. And we're going to put you in a situation where you almost have no ability to be successful, because in addition to all the injuries and the things we've had and the challenges we've had, we're not going to let you just ball out now. And once you do that, and he's a rookie quarterback, you don't even give him a chance. Like, just put in Jameis Winston, or if you really want to tank, no offense, Connor, put in Russell Wilson, but stop playing this kid and not letting him be the player that he is. Here's Dart after the game.
It's just a new experience I've never been through before, and that doesn't make it any easier than what it is. And you just try to do your best to stay positive as much as you can, and there's just a quick turnaround each week. So I feel like the times where you hang on a loss for too long, it goes into your next game week prep. So that's kind of just the
Jesus. Remember how exciting this guy was a few weeks back?
Process that I've just tried to have.
All right, I can't hear this guy anymore. Connor, close it out.
2 quick things. He broke his sister's chain in this game and then whipped it to the sidelines, and now has no time before Christmas to buy her a new one. So bad job by Jackson Dart there. And just one more thing. How about this sort of subplot in this game? I would not play Jackson Dart either. You are facing a Vikings coordinator who is actively suing you in court for fucking him over for a head coaching job.
Oh, yes.
He pressured you on half of your dropbacks, and he would have beat his ass if he tried to drop back 33 times. Tyrone Tracy actually is the best game that I've seen him play all year. I would have handed the ball off 50 times. I wouldn't have let Jackson Dart drop back once.
The whole organization is a mess. And the GM, who's had a major hand in it, Joe Shane, he's got to go too. But I don't trust anything with the Giants anymore, which is a crazy thing. But they are an organization that just is completely adrift. All right, let's move to Miami, where the Bengals were looking to finish the season off with some level of grace. Joe Burrow. This It's on all of our radars, and I love Joe Burrow, but like the lead of the AP story for this game, a 45-21 win for the Bengals over the Dolphins. Joe Burrow is having fun playing football.
Oh, please.
I mean, listen, he set it up that way with his comments a couple weeks back, and that's the only thing people are going to be talking about from now until the end of Week 18. But anyway, the quarterback threw 4 touchdown passes, threw for over 300 yards, and they rout the Dolphins, who quit. We already knew the Dolphins quit. They quit before the ending of the Monday night game, as you recall, as they were like almost actively trying to run out the clock because they were cold. But Burrow gets the win. They're 5-10, the Bengals. There's going to be no miracle here, but they do win this game, scoring 28 points in the second half. Here was Burrow after the game. Oh, I hope he's feeling okay after the game.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm having fun playing football. Not playing football is not fun when you're sitting in the locker room rehabbing all day. That's not why you do it. This is why you do it right here. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. That's what it's supposed to feel like. So we got to keep that feeling going these next couple weeks and build some momentum.
It sucks when you have a moment of honesty at the podium, and now every week the Bengals reporters are going to be like, "Are you having fun again? Are you happy? Is everything okay?
Like,
please,
I
please
should
don't
not
leave."
have said anything. Why did
Well, it was multiple.
say that?
It was multiple sessions where he went like hyper goth on us. It wasn't just one.
Why was I honest? Why did I bare my soul on any level to these clowns? I don't know what else needs to be added here other than the defense, which has been terrible for most of the year. They were really good in the second half. They got 4 stops on 4 Miami drives, 2 of them's 2 interceptions, a fumble, turnover on downs. So you're looking just for things to build on. And if you care about how Quinn Ewers,
you say that like it's a human disease of some sort.
He was good in the first half. He actually completed 10 of his first 12 passes, but by the end of the game, he looked very much like what he is. This is an undrafted rookie playing out the string with Tua on the sideline.
7th rounder. Hello.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Justin. So I don't think he's their quarterback of the future either. But that's really all I have on this game. And I apologize to Dolphins fans if they're looking for more, but it was an action-packed day on Sunday. And once this game gets to like a 3-score game in the second half,
well, we're at that point in the season where you've run out of chances to entice us, both of you teams. There was more reporting about the fact that Tua will never play for this team ever again.
But I want to hear it. Let's hear that.
Well, it's multiple sources saying that this is over with Miami and Tua.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I think I was just thinking Burrow, because all I could think about is Burrow leaving
Right.
the Bengals. Tua, yes, that all.
I mean, it's just more cemented. It feels like reality.
That all checks out. All right, let's keep moving. To Tennessee, Nashville, that is. Oh, gravy. Ooh, everybody hop in the gravy boat.
Everybody.
Oh, the great Mahomes taken down by Zero Star and company. Well, no. The great Minshew and company taken down by Zero Star. Nope. Zero Star and the Titans defeated Chris Oladokun, the third-string quarterback of the Chiefs, who, after Gardner Minshew suffered a potential ACL tear. So with the Chiefs on their third quarterback, they were ripe for the picking, and they were picked off. Credit to the Titans. They win 26-9. Zero Star, 21-28, 228, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So let's start there, Justin. So I know you want to have a high draft pick, but once the Chiefs come in limping like this, go get a W and let's see Zero Star do something.
Hey, I think the Titans might be building something here under Mike McCoy. No, I don't really believe that. But I do believe that there's been like some sort of a soft culture momentum shift Cam Ward said the biggest thing that we've improved around here is our mentality after the game, or our mindset, which is good to hear. They've won 2 of their last 3 games. Granted, that's against the Chiefs' backups. This was like a preseason game for the Chiefs. I mean, the players that were on the field. And the Browns, who are, not a very good football team. But that's 2 wins that they didn't have. I mean, they didn't have wins in this season. The only win they had was the Cardinals' meltdown. So good to see that. Cam Ward has thrown 2 touchdown passes in 3 straight games. He is playing well, which is what you want to see. This, I think, was his best game of the season. You read his stat line, but that 75% completion mark, by far his highest yet of his career. 122 passer rating, grain of salt for that stat, but best of his career. Fastest time to throw in a game this season. So he's playing at a higher level. He's getting better as the season's going on, and he's giving you really encouraging moments that you can hopefully build on this offseason and try to do. Maybe they're not the Patriots or the Bears next year, but maybe they can have like this slower Panthers-esque turnaround where end of the season we're talking about them next year. Maybe it's 2027. They're like competitive again, and that's all you can hope for at this point.
They need more around him. It's not his, for him to grow, you need some pieces around him. They had that. I watched an 11 play, 89-yard type drive that I thought he had his best game a couple weeks ago, and it's like another example of him growing. So I don't think it's just Justin hyperbole. It's less sad than the Chiefs sending out a tweet before the game with Minshew doing the "I'm walking in my clothing to go to the locker room." It's like, and it just sort of sadly said Minshew mania, not even like an exclamation point or anything. It's just like Minshew mania. Like, really? Is that what we're selling to the nation at this point?
And he tore his ACL on the first drive and played through it for like 2 or 3 more possessions, and then finally didn't come back out. And that's back-to-back games, Chiefs quarterback tearing their ACL.
What is happening, by the way, just generally? Quarterbacks are doing some really fucked up stuff with their bodies this year. Like Carson Wentz played through like a medical grade dislocated shoulder. Jordan Love played a game where he had to hand the ball off backwards. Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert are playing with broken wrists. And then Gardner Minshew is playing like multiple drives on a torn ACL. Like, are we just using medical interns for the staff? Like, who's evaluating these people? Like, is everybody okay? I mean, what's happening here?
I mean, it's a fair question. Mark, answer it, please.
What's happening if I wanted to break it? No, I don't know. Let's investigate further.
My God.
Good job, though, Justin. That's nice. You want to have some of that momentum closing the season. Hopefully, Zero Star can continue to build on it all. And the Chiefs at this point.
One last thing? Sorry.
Sure.
Sure. Jeffrey Simmons deserves first-team All-Pro consideration. I don't think he's going to really get it because he plays for the Titans and we suck and nobody cares about this team. But he's been the best defensive tackle in football, and that's not just a biased take. Advanced stats tell you that too. And he's a monster, and he deserves more praise nationally. He's never going to get it, but it is what it is.
Advanced stats.
Well, you've just done it here. How about that?
Internationally, you've said it on this show.
Let him know.
Multiple countries.
Someone get the word to Jeffrey Simmons that the grave digger is on the case of pumping him up as the stud that he is. To the Superdome. Taysom Hill game? Sure, why not? Maybe one more for the road. A surprise 38-yard touchdown pass from Taysom Hill to Chris Olave was the big highlight for the Saints, who battle it out with the Jets in a low-scoring first half, but then cruise with 20 unanswered points in the second half, 29-6. The Saints continue to close strong. The schedule is certainly helping them on that front, but hey, they're winning the games that are in front of them. They're 5-10. The Jets, 3-12, move up just a little bit more in the draft pick race, the race for the number 1 overall pick. Chris Olave also caught a touchdown from Tyler Shuck, and our buddy Charlie Smith, the Irishman, tied a Saints record with 5 field goals. So 3 straight wins for the Saints. The Jets continue to lose, and that is all right with me. Here's Cam Jordan after the game. Cam Jordan, I believe this is the last home game for the Saints this season, and guys like Taysom Hill, guys like Cam Jordan know that their time with the Saints could be coming to an end, so ending it with a win isn't bad at all.
So we going to hit the streets tonight. It is what it is. I don't know. I've never seen myself not being in black and gold. Again, I've always wanted to be here unless you don't want me. Then I got to go back to the West Coast.
Cam Jordan has always been a great quote, and I think he has a career in media. He's already done it, actually. This was a nice game for those veteran players. Taysom Hill, by the way, sneaky Mark, 35 years old now. And he finished with 116 total yards in this game, including that fourth quarter touchdown pass.
Sean Payton gave him that for all of Connor's issues with Sean Payton. The contract that he gave Taysom Hill a couple of years back was absolutely a beautiful contract if you're Taysom Hill. So I'll kind of miss him on the Saints if he goes away because,
it's probably time, right? Like the fact that he's even still there is kind of outrageous.
No,
but,
it's a lot about the Saints feels old and new all at once, like ancient and new all at once.
Right, guys like Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill. It does feel like they might age out of the picture, and then the bright way to look at this is again like we see with Zero Star and the Titans. Maybe they can build a little something here. I'm not a big fan of take the quote unquote momentum of the next season and just like sign up for them being good next year, but some good vibes and these younger players having a chance to develop, and Olave ending a season in a strong manner rather than on injured reserve. These are all like positive things that are happening around the Saints for a team, when you think about it, was an outright disaster at the dawn of this year.
Yeah, I mean, Kellen Moore has done a good job. You transition from Spencer Rattler to Tyler Shutt.
Ellen Moore.
You're starting to develop an offensive identity. I think you made
Ellen
good hires. And I thought he was
Keep
a good
going.
hire.
Don't
That's
worry.
all.
That's part of the challenge of the show. I know you don't deal with
challenge.
When you're doing a show with Bert Breer, you don't have to worry about this. But on our show, there's a little mental gymnastics when you're talking the Saints, and you might have to deal with this.
Ellen Moore.
Can I actually say something about the Jets, and not because I want Justin to stop doing that?
Yeah, go ahead.
But that was the first time
Ellen
I laughed
Moore.
audibly out loud. Yeah, the first time I laughed audibly out loud this season was like one of their first offensive plays. They're doing one of those motions where the guy runs in front of the quarterback and then back around him the other way, and he just fell straight on his face right when the ball was being snapped, and it was just very funny. And I urge you all to go look at that. So
I hate this team.
Yeah, Chris Harris, the new defensive coordinator. There was a lot of Ross Tucker, who we love in the booth, was doing his best to try to keep things interesting, and the CBS team, a lot of shots of excited Chris Harris on the sideline, and that looked good in the first half. And then, as everything with this Jets team, everything falls apart because the offense is completely non-competitive. We knew this already, but 15 straight seasons of missing the playoffs now, which is unprecedented futility in the modern era of the NFL. There are also 6 straight years now with more than 10 losses, which is also outrageous. And I'll give Tucker a little shout out. CBS near the end of this, another lost game and another lost season for the Jets. They start panning around in the Superdome. They're actually finding Jets fans. Play this, please.
I got to tell you, Tom, I'm incredibly impressed by Jets fans. Just how loyal and dedicated they are with that return on investment. 15 years without a playoff berth, the longest. There's actually a decent amount of Jets fans here. I mean, you see them on social media, you talk with them. Most of the ones I talk to have a very realistic perspective of where they're at and what they want. But they continue to support this team without getting a whole lot in return.
You get the sense they're going to be visiting the French Quarter this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. It is amazing that a team, to see the two bad teams essentially, and you're going down there and watching your team get its brains beaten. I've started following this account on Instagram recently. It's like New York Jets history, and they'll just play clips from good moments in the last 25 years. And it was a reminder, is like, it feels so far gone now, but there were times where it was exciting to root for this team, even if they weren't getting to the Super Bowl. And one day maybe it will happen again, but this is not the year. And by the way, another game without an interception. That is an NFL record.
But you're rooting for that at this point, right?
Well, they've now set the NFL record. That is 15 consecutive games without an interception. And now we're going to see 2 more games. Can they go an entire season without it? I would imagine the Jets, one of the buzzwords you'll hear around the team going into and toward the draft and free agency is we need to find some playmakers on defense.
Oh, we're going to be ball hawks.
Yes.
Yeah, that is absolutely going to be buzzwords around the New York Football Jets. Hang in there, Jets fans. One day this will turn, but we don't know when. All right, let's keep moving to Arizona. Oh, man. Cardinals suck, dude. They suck, dude. They're so bad. Zummy, man.
Talk about drinking on a Sunday.
My fantasy team went down this weekend. It's like the one thing they were giving you was we're going to get nice games from McBride and Wilson. And then this game, it's like they're at home against the Falcons, and the offense is just sputters. They can't get a stop. Bijan Robinson, another incredible game, both out of the backfield as a rusher and as a receiver. Superstar tight end Kyle Pitts caught another touchdown pass. 26-19, the Falcons prevail, and they improved to 6-9. The Cardinals, another team in the mix for a top pick in the NFL draft, fall to 3-12. Connor, your thoughts on this one?
I mean, the Kyle Pitts thing is unbelievable. Where if you transported someone from another planet into Earth and you explained like very vaguely the rules of football, and then you just showed them this game, they would be like, is this the greatest player of all time? He just looks like a creative person, like that you would make in college football 2004. He's right. Bigger than everybody else, and on that touchdown, he like motions the length of the field, sprints away from like 3 defenders, and catches the ball without anybody near him. And you're like, where the was this for like 4 years? It's unbelievable. It really is something. I loved every minute of watching it. It was great.
It's interesting because like they also found a way to get Bijan Robinson 92 yards through the air. Like they are finding a way to get these guys
he's so good,
open
dude.
in certain space. But the Pitts thing, like 2 weeks in a row, it's like I'm with you. It's odd.
So on the Bijan point, I thought that Zach Robinson did a really good job. Like the game plan seemed to be around, let's create a bunch of traffic with our wide receivers, and Kirk will be smart enough to dump the ball off to kind of who's open. And there was one where it was sort of like a swing screen to Bijan Robinson, and some of the other receivers were supposed to run the other way and kind of take people out, and they didn't. And Bijan Robinson, it didn't matter anyway. Like he was still 30 yards downfield. He was beating the other guys that the other receivers were supposed to take out of the play. And it was something. He didn't even look like he was running full speed. You know how Derrick Henry does that? Mm-hmm. Bijan Robinson does it, but like he's not Derrick Henry's size. And I don't the physics of it blow me away.
He's over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, leads the NFL. I was thinking of like who's a comp in recent NFL history of a guy that is arguably the most talented running back specifically in the league, and he's just kind of buried on a bad/mediocre team for an extended period of time, as he has been so far in his NFL career. Is it Barry Sanders? But even Barry Sanders was on some good teams at points of his career before the Lions went into a deep tailspin for a decade or two. But I just hope they build around this guy because he's incredible. Like very quietly, by the standards of the NFL, is maybe the best running back in football, but it's all kind of been for naught in terms of the big picture because they can't build around him.
It can't be 3 years from now, like with the actual position he plays. Like you want it to happen soon.
And we have time to talk about this, but they're another fascinating conversation about like what is, I guess Penix showed enough where you're going to give him the job, or do you bring someone else in other than Kirk Cousins next year to mix things up? Is the head coach going? We know Bijan's not going anywhere, at least not right now. All right. That is the Week 16 recap. Remember, Amazon Prime isn't just about speed. It's your secret weapon for making sure last-minute gifts arrive on time, keeping the holidays stress-free. Forgot a present for tonight's party or a friend across town? Prime gets it there fast, turning those uh-oh moments into smooth wins. This season, you can count on Prime to deliver when you need it most. Last-minute gifts delivered. It's on Prime. Yeah, I mean, if
Are
you
we
still...
going to a party tonight? I'm just learning that now.
Maybe not tonight, but
Okay.
if you put it this way, it is, as we tape this, it's very late on the East Coast here in America. And if you don't have your gift for your significant other, and I know we have a large majority male audience, we have female listeners. Mark tracks it closely, but we have a large majority. The overwhelming majority is men, and men that are typically married or in long-term relationships. Do not wait another minute if you haven't gotten the gift.
Nope.
Do not blow this. Don't wait till Christmas Eve and then all of a sudden stores are closed or there's nothing on. Tomorrow, before you settle in for the next Heed the Call episode, the Monday Night Power Rankings episode, have everything done. And if you have a bachelor party, go have a real bachelor party.
Yeah, while we're at it.
You literally have your entire life to be together with your wife and hang out with her friends and... Oh, we're going out to dinner with my friend. Oh, you'll get along with the husband. It's like, will I? Will I?
You'll love Stanley.
Oh, you'll love Stanley. He loves sports. He's a big NFL fan. Ah!
Waitress, please bring me a revolver.
I'm very excited about our batch party. It was actually my idea to do a co
Can we bleep,
party thing.
Can we bleep when you said batch there? I can't hear it another time. I can't.
Batch.
All right. Everybody have a great night. See you Monday. Get your shopping done. And as always, heed the call.